Hi guys, hey, how you doing? Just want to introduce you to my latest acquisition that I got today. It's a Rogers Powertone 14-inch diameter by 5.5-inch depth chrome over brass shell snare drum, and it's a great sounding thing. It's in very good nick. There's only a few little surface scratches on the shell here and there. All the lugs are functioning. The guy who I bought it from has a place up at Dural, which is a place that's northwest of me, a good 40-odd minute drive or so. And yeah, lovely guy, young guy, and he has this company which is specialising in restoring a whole bunch of classic and vintage snare drums and drum kits and so forth. He really knows what he's doing. And yeah, so I managed to get this snare drum off him for $375 Australian, which is pretty good for any vintage or classic snare drum. Particularly this, which is a chrome over brass snare drum. It's not as highly prized as the Rogers Dynasonics. I happen to have a Rogers Dynasonic in my, I could say now, collection of drums. Well, this is like now snare drum number 12. And yeah, this is just a great sort of sounding drum, and it's going to be another welcome addition to my little family of drums. So anyway, let's have a little bit of a listen to its tone. I don't claim to be any great rudimental drummer or anything like that, but nice sounding sort of drum, you know. Very nice, high, crisp kind of rim click sort of sounds, you know. Try it again. Yeah, so yeah, so this is going to be a welcome little addition to my collection of snare drums. I have at least now, I have 4 classical vintage snare drums: the Rogers Powertone, the Rogers Dynasonic, a 1960s Australian-made drum called the Druin, which has a shell which is based on the Ludwig Supraphonic, I believe it's Supraphonic. And a 1960s or early 60s, what is it? That's Premier chrome over brass snare drum. They're all pretty much the same diameters and depths, 14-inch diameter, 5.5-inch depth. So you might ask, why would I go for, say, 3 or more sort of snare drums that are similar sort of size and so forth? Well, basically I'm tuning into all different sort of pitches, some high, some very high cracking sort of sounds, and some like a little bit lower, like the drill, and I've done that sort of thing. I also have, what have I got? A Tama Star Classic Maple. That's definitely one of my favourites. It's over in here, in fact. A little while back got a Ludwig Epic. That's also another 13-inch diameter snare drum. I tend to be favouring 13-inch diameter snare drums nowadays. Actually for quite a while now, and that came with my Epic drum set. I have a couple of pearl piccolos. One's a wood piccolo, one's a steel, black painted steel piccolo. Also have a Tama Nickelworks, will be a 12 by 4-inch depth, so that will class it as a soprano snare drum. And what else? I got one of my old sort of faves. It's an old Pearl Export snare drum with a special kind of like, you know, attention and to the tuning and so forth, because a lot of those Pearl Export metal snares that came out from the 80s were notorious for very bad sort of over-ringing sort of sounds, but I've done like a little sort of tuning trick with it, and it's my kind of like deep classic 80s sort of snare, that kind of sound. So I've got that sort of sound there. And then I've got a couple of these really cool little things. I just bring one of them around, and that's this. It's a little specialty 8-inch by 6-inch, 6-inch in depth, 8-inch diameter effect snare that was made by a friend of mine, Nick Pansini. Should look him up sometime. He does some awesome acrylic snares, and that's what this is. It's a very little high-pitched sort of, especially when you sort of like, you know, do a rim shot sort of thing on it. Okay, and I would often sort of have this or what I've got there, a Trixon little 8-inch snare drum that came with my cocktail sort of stand-up set, and hi-hat over here, snare drum over here, so the main snare would be here, and very timbali sounding snare drum. Half the time I do have it with the wires off, and that really sort of cuts. If I tweak it a little higher, it's got that very high pitch kind of like sound. It's really good for doing things like, you know, hip hop and oh, you know, even like a Latin effect sort of thing. Anyway, so I won't sort of talk much further. Just give you one more little sound with this snare drum. Oh, this is going to be a great one. Alright, I'm going to have to disappear because otherwise I'm going to sort of start running a little bit late. But I thought I'd share this snare drum with you, and it's a great sort of sounding snare, and you'll definitely hear more about it. Catch you later. See ya.